listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Hello and welcome back to Grave Discussions, your all-in-one horror podcast. I am Barnabas.
And I am Samael. Welcome to this week's episode.
This is episode 27, Thoughts and Prayers.
And they're always with you.
Well,
I'll keep you in my thoughts.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know about the other thing.
Yeah.
But you know who was praying? Were the nuns in The Nun.
They were praying for their fucking lives.
Yeah.
And then they spoiler alert, they weren't even there.
Whoa.
What?
Well, but we're going to give our review of The Nun in this episode. This one just came out over the weekend, and It's been going around everywhere, obviously, due to the just, popularity and success of the Conjuring franchise.
Exactly. I've been seeing, really mixed reviews, online, and, the horror groups. People are either totally for it or, completely against it.
Yeah.
And there's, 5 people that are well, it was okay. It wasn't
Right.
It wasn't supposed to be something great or, fucking captivating,
Yeah. I don't know what people were expecting, really, but we're going to get into all of that. Before we do, though, as always, we wanted to give a shout-out to our host, Sports Radio Detroit.
Woohoo!
You guys are awesome, and they have a lot of other awesome shows as well as Grave Discussions. So you can go check them out on all of their social media. And what do they have, Sam?
They have a Instagram. They have a Facebook. And I believe they have a Twitter?
Yes.
They have a Twitter.
Yep.
Everyone's tweeting.
Yeah.
Everyone. It's 2018. I still personally don't use one.
I don't, use a personal one, but I use one for the show, obviously.
Oh yeah. I check out the one for the show all the time.
Yeah.
I just go on there. I'm like, that's us. And then I...
Yeah, but that's actually relevant. If you're not kind of tweeting constantly, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway.
Yeah, that's how we came into contact with... Who did we come into contact with?
Oh, the writer from Summer of '84.
Oh, yeah.
No, there are a lot of people on there that are very active, and we appreciate that the film community and especially the horror community is so active on Twitter. But yeah, go check out Sports Radio Detroit. Just search for them, and they're on Podbean, all the platforms.
They're on iTunes as well.
Yep. Yeah, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. So
a lot of us are on Spotify now.
Yep.
What's going on? It's crazy.
Right.
It's too much.
Yeah. No, we're on a lot of platforms
I'm
too.
overwhelmed.
Yeah. We'll tell you guys how to get in touch with us on all those platforms a little later on. But right now we're going to start with the news as always. And this week, there's been some stuff going on.
Oh man, this is what a lot of people are bitching about this, but when I saw this I was like, yes, if anyone's gonna even touch that fucking classic, one of the goats, goatiest goat slashers of all time, it better be none other than director of Get Out, Jordan Peele.
Yep. So Jordan Peele is in talks to revive Candyman of all franchises, and it's been a long time. It's been 20 years since we've had
Seriously.
Candyman. And if anything, I think Jordan Peele makes complete sense. He's in talks to produce it. So, but I hope he directs, because I think it would be perfect. Because the first film obviously had a lot of social commentary, about race and poverty and wealth and urban legends and all that kind of stuff. And I think if there's any kind of socially conscious black filmmaker in the industry right now, is Jordan Peele, most prominently, so
because Get Out was really good, and now he's rebuilding a classic that I don't care who you are. If you were born 1980 to the present, you went to your mirror, you've been like, Candyman, Candyman, is he gonna come? I don't know.
Yeah.
And now he hasn't been talked about for so long, and like he said, it's time to bring him back to life. People are going to start talking about Candyman again, just like he said in the original, and they're going to bring back the legend.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do a great job. I really hope Tony Todd, he's in here. Is he in here?
No, they haven't confirmed anything. I think it would be weird to not have Tony Todd in it, but at the same time,
because Hollywood fucked up casting that new Freddy.
Yeah.
But I guess they want to give other people a chance.
Yeah, I liked the actor. The character was just all wrong, and I don't know what they're going to do with this one. Because I think in the original story, it's like not a son of a slave. Like, it's not a black guy or something. But
really?
I don't know. I have to look like more into that. But anyway, that's some exciting news. Right now, it's like just in the works, so there's no confirmation on whether Jordan Peele is going to be involved with it, but hopefully. Next up, we have some news about the New Mutants movie. Now, the New Mutants is actually from Marvel, X-Men. It's like they have their own group. I think they're like young mutants or something like that, but this film is supposed to actually be more of like a horror movie.
Oh, really?
Because they're mutants, but they're like trapped in some kind of facility or something like that, and they're trying to get out. So it's kind of like, it's supposed to be like kind of like this psychological horror, but with superhero elements. I don't know. It sounds interesting, but
sounds like some Lucifer TV show shit.
Yeah.
Like there's.
But apparently the the movie was supposed to be more superhero based, but they're going to now be making it more horror. They're going to be going through some reshoots. And the film was supposed to come out this year, and now it's going to be coming out next year. So August 2nd, 2019, actually. But,
yeah, I can wait.
Yeah. But
maybe when it comes,
I'm okay with it.
Maybe when it comes around next year, I'll be like, yeah, fuck it, let's go see. I'm sure we're gonna go see this.
Yeah, I mean, the initial trailer did look pretty cool to me, and they tried to pass it off as horror. But now, apparently, from star Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays Magic, she's okay with it because now the film is going to be as it was intended to be, as a horror movie. So I'm kind of pumped about it. I mean, I'm a big X-Men fan, and I've been wanting to see this, so I'm glad they're making it like more relevant to horror.
Yeah.
And then
that's pretty cool of them. I mean,
yeah,
because there's been a lot of superhero movies lately, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of sick of the.
Yeah, they definitely need like something different. That's why when like Deadpool comes out, it's kind of a breath of fresh air because it's like rated R. He just says like fucking shit and dick and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
And he like kills people mercilessly.
I swear, after like, it seems like after Transformers, like everyone wanted to be like Michael Bay.
Yeah, just explosions everywhere.
Fucking A.
I mean, it kind of makes sense for superhero stuff, but we need something different. That's why, at least in horror, why I love it is because it's so creative. Like, you can literally always do something
I mean, when
different.
you think about it, you could take Christopher Nolan's Joker and make that into a horror movie if you like direct the prequel to it.
That might be what the new Joker movie is kind of going to be. I don't know, but
that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But so what's new with our favorite streaming servers, bro?
Yeah, Shudder.
What's new?
So, just announced they're going to be doing something really cool for Halloween. They're going to be releasing new content every week, not even just in October, starting like September 10th or something like that. So I think it's already begun, but every week they're going to be releasing a bunch of movies, including the Summer of '84.
Really? This is going to be on Shudder?
Yep.
Now we don't have to buy it to watch it again?
Yeah.
Because it was impossible to find it on any streaming service to buy besides Comcast initially.
Yeah. So you had to like rent it.
Honestly, that's my favorite so far horror movies.
Yeah, I agree. So they're going to have Summer of '84, which we talked about and we loved.
Hell House 2.
Yep, Hell House 2. That's a new one, actually, that's coming out. The new season of Channel Zero.
This is interesting. Witch in the Window. That sounds fucking great.
We talked about that. We saw the trailer for that on an earlier episode.
Oh, yeah.
You might not remember it, but I kind of remember it. It looked interesting.
My mind is hazy. And they're going to have Halloween 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and a bunch of Alfred Hitchcock.
Yep. The Hitchcock I'm particularly excited about as well, but
yeah, because I have every Halloween movie.
Mm-hmm. And then also, if you've heard of the movie Revenge, it's a Shudder original. It's actually gotten a lot of praise. That one's coming out actually September 13th, so tomorrow.
Oh wow!
Should be coming out. Yep. So
razor sharp feminist version of the Revenge. Oof.
Yeah. It's one of those, but apparently it's different and good, so I have to check it out. But yeah, so if you have Shudder, which why don't you, then I hope you're excited for that bit of news. All new movies coming out every week leading up to Halloween day or night rather.
That's dope.
Yep. And then we've got a couple trailer announcements. This one is actually releasing today. I'm not particularly interested in it, but American
Me
Horror
either.
Story Apocalypse has a new trailer out.
Honestly, after the season with the nuns, that's like the only season I liked.
Wasn't that the
The second season.
oh yeah.
I gave up after the witch one.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't like a huge fan of that one, but
After seeing like Emma Roberts get like roofied and raped the first
yeah,
episode, I was like, I don't like shit like this, and I just clicked it off.
yeah. But I know that there are a lot of fans of the show, so if you are, then today, technically Wednesday, is the release of the show, but there's a trailer out if you just want to check that out before you see the show. The next movie that's coming out is called Extremity. Yep. This one is coming out September 17th, and it actually looks pretty cool. I forget who it's by, but there's a pretty good director attached to this one, and the trailer looks pretty interesting. So go check out the trailer and be on the lookout for the movie releasing next week. And then the final trailer is about a British movie called Possum. Now,
oh God.
I kind of saw something about this on Facebook a little while ago, but the trailer has officially dropped. It's coming out in theaters in the UK October 26th, so hopefully there will be an international release soon after that. But the movie is about a puppeteer who goes back to like visit his hometown and to see his father, and basically just a bunch of really weird shit happens. It's like a psychological kind of thing. So October 26th is when that one comes out in the UK.
The premise of that seems interesting in itself. I might need to check that out.
Honestly, like a lot of the visuals in the trailer look pretty disturbing. So yeah, I would be on the lookout for that one for sure.
October 26th.
Yep.
See, how come like I hear of some shit like the one we just talked about, the New Mutants, August 2019, and it's like cool, and then when you actually want to see something, Possum, October 26th. Now I gotta waiting a month for a movie that you like
really want to see
is like so much worse than like waiting for a movie that you're kind of just like
iffy about. It's just like Halloween. Yeah,
I'm seriously like I'm having heart palpitations. I just wake up every morning, the first thing I think about is damn, I hope I don't die before I see the next Michael Myers movie.
Right.
I can die in peace after.
I feel you.
I've been waiting for this for over what's it been, 11 years since Rob Zombie? God,
I know, it's a long ass fucking time. But we're gonna move on now. Lay back in your graves and be prepared for the Cult Corner. All right, this week's Cult Corner is featuring an absolute classic.
No doubt one of the best demon movies.
Yep.
And which one is it?
Night of the Demons.
Oh man, so much memories with this. I remember walking into the video store. I just walked past all the Friday movies. I went to N, it's like, and then I saw Night of the Demons. It's like, Angela's having a party and Jason and Freddy are too scared to come. Like,
yeah.
And I was like,
that was cool.
Oh, we gotta see what this one about.
Yeah.
I was like 6 years old when I discovered this.
Because you know that, like, when you see a movie call out another movie, especially like Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th, and say that it's like scarier or better, as like a kid, you're like, what? No way.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing better than Freddy.
Yeah, Freddy's the best ever. He can kill her. He don't even have to be in real life. Like.
And then you watch Night of the Demons, and this bitch like puts a whole ass lipstick into her nipple, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Seriously, that was the greatest part of the movie. This blonde chick, like, she's smearing lipstick all over her face because she's a demon. She's possessed.
Yeah.
She just takes the whole lipstick majigger, shoves it into her nipple. I mean, you could tell her titties were fake, but that was great, though. It was hilarious.
It was like, I don't know, it was just like shocking kind of when I first saw it. I was like, are they really showing this?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I didn't know what the fuck I was watching.
Yeah, because it's just weird. Like, it's not something that you would think about even like a demon doing, but they're just weird.
It's weird how that blonde chick was the first one to get possessed, but then Angela was like the main, like the leader.
Yeah, it's probably because she looked the gothiest.
Yeah, I think so.
The demons were like, oh yeah, I want her.
She looks scary without us as it is. Like.
Yeah, right. She kind of did. Her hair was like
this also has the cult classic Angela spazzing out dance moment to Stigmata Martyr by Bauhaus.
Yeah.
That was great. Like,
It was so. You know what?
I think that was the first time I had a boner when I was a kid, when I saw.
You know what
that
just
weirdo
bothered me
dance.
about it, seeing it like a few days ago though, was just how like long it was.
Yeah,
I
it was
like Jesus.
Yeah, the dance was a lot longer than I had expected it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that Stigmata Martyr song, it's not that long, but like the second half of the song is them just screaming backwards Latin, you know?
Yeah.
So like, and it drags on forever. And she
It
was
really
just
does, yeah.
doing the dance to that like guitar string scratching, like
Yeah.
and she was just doing like those fucking, I don't know, those witch moves.
Yeah, it was just a very like odd movie.
It was unsettling,
Honestly,
like
yeah,
the
it
end of
was.
Sleepaway Camp, like.
Yeah,
Like-
it was unsettling in its weirdness. Sleepaway Camp was like a little bit more shock value, I feel like, but
Yeah, because little girl had
yeah. But Night of the Demons, it was just like, it started off as like, what the fuck is happening, and then eventually get into the movie and you're like, well, that's not the weirdest thing I've seen so far.
You know what I
So-
really liked? They used the same demon voice for every person that was a demon. It was great. I don't know, like, this is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. Like, it's in my top
Yeah.
10. Maybe not top 5,
I mean,
but
the-
definitely top 10.
Maybe not like the chest thing that Suzanne, I think it was, had, but
Mhm.
overall the practical effects were great.
Yeah, I really liked it, and like it's classic 80s practical effects. Like,
Mhm.
there's no fucking, I don't think it had CGI whatsoever. I just want to figure out how they made Angela float through the fucking air. Like,
I'm telling you, they definitely had
a
something
Segway.
mobile down.
She had
there.
a Segway
Bro, it was the
underneath her.
80s. They didn't have Segways.
they had segways,
Did
bro.
they really? I don't know.
I don't know. Probably she probably had like a fucking scooter. I don't fucking know.
Well, I mean, there's like mechanical dollies and stuff that they use for all kinds of stuff, and they probably have one just like custom built to make her like float.
Yeah, probably.
You know how you know how in like the WWE games, the legends, they come out in that like ring and the ring just like rolls down.
Yeah, okay.
It's gotta be some shit like that. It's just like
Yeah.
a little platform with wheels or something.
There's probably some tracks on the floor too, or something.
Yeah, or like they're pulling it with string. They do that shit all the
I really
time.
like the premise of this movie and like the setting.
Mhm.
So it was like late 80s, everyone's still like metal, rock and rollish.
Yeah, punky.
And in the 80s, you know, you didn't text through Facebook. Come to the party. There was 500, drunk people trying to fight. It was just like a small thing, like 8 people getting
Mhm.
drunk, no cell phones, Halloween night. Let's conjure up some demons.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Well, weren't they originally supposed to have a bunch of people at the party or no?
No, Angela just
yeah, 'cause
invited.
she roped them in. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then Sal showed up and he wasn't even invited.
I think in the remake though, they had like a whole ass party of people, didn't they?
Yeah, it was like
That was like a weird
100.
difference.
I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I didn't either. But we're not gonna talk about the remake. But it was way inferior.
I also thought I really liked the score to this movie and like the classic demon coming through the hallway scene. That's where it first started when and it's just like floating Angela. But this time they didn't show like, Angela coming down the hallway. It was just the voice, like that Evil Dead perspective. And I think this movie was
Yeah, that was cool.
heavily inspired by Evil Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just like Zombie was to like Dawn of the Dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Night of the Demons is to Evil Dead.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Or Demons itself too, like
Yeah.
we just
I think
needed
so.
like something like probably after Demons came out. I'm pretty sure Demons was before this, but
Yeah, it was.
I'm pretty sure after that they're like, we got to take this and we got to make it American. Like,
Yeah.
and I was a bunch of douchebags at a house.
Just put it in a haunted house.
Instead of a bunch of like fancy people at a theater, I was just
Right.
like a bunch of douchebags. Like, "Whoa,
But I mean, yeah, there are
just get fucking
similarities.
Oh,
There
yeah.
are similarities though
with
for
the
sure.
demons, with the kills, like
Yeah.
the gruesomeness of the kills.
Mhm.
I didn't like that one off death screen though. I forgot who died off screen. I think it was Helen. Remember, she just showed up dead on
Mhm.
top of the car.
Oh yeah.
When I forgot who was in the car. Roger. Yeah, Roger was in the car. But yeah, overall, I really liked the atmosphere of this
Mhm.
movie too, because it was like just
Yeah, and you know what else I like too? I think it like never really skipped a beat. Like it was going like the whole movie. It was just action.
yeah,
And
that's what I liked.
interesting parts. Like there was no fillers. Basically, what I'm trying to say.
And there was a lot of
you know?
great jokes too.
Yeah, it was.
It was
fun.
humorous
pretty
and
fun.
like had so many cheesy moments, but like
Mhm.
this is one of my go-to movies to watch on Halloween night.
Oh yeah.
Like, I know we've been talking about a lot of movies and like we got at least a good 10 that are our go-to, but this one, like, I don't know, like Demons is cool, and
Mhm.
so it like Evil Dead is like amazing. Night of the Demons, though, it's like a different kind of film for me. Like, I view Evil Dead as like the goat of like these demonic movies, but then I view Night of the Demons as of like the super cheese. You know, like I think Night of the Demons like takes it because like it's super wacky. Like they're just like they'll run away from these demons, then they'll stop, they'll pause for a little bit, and then they'll just be like, well, what do we do? How about we try to get out? No, let's go in this room and climb into the oven. You know, like, you remember that shit?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it was weird, but I agree, man.
And I like that it was like an overnight thing. It wasn't like a movie where like 2 weeks later or 18 months later.
Yeah,
it was day.
like we always talk about. Like it was a very isolated film.
I love those
because they're trapped in the house. Yeah, and they have to like figure out what to do while they're being chased down by monsters.
A lot of them could have survived if they had just not been so goddamn stupid. Like
yeah, they were pretty stupid. I gotta say, but I don't think it would have been the same movie if they were smart. You know.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this movie great. I think I wouldn't say it's a pioneer. But this is definitely one of the kingpins of 80s horror, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's very Halloween-y, for sure. Like, that's what I think makes it stand out from, like, Evil Dead or Demons.
The Halloween spirit.
Yeah, the Halloween spirit and, like, the themes are just all there, you know? And this was, like, such a... I mean, it was kind of cliched, like, well, you know, you shouldn't probably go to a haunted house and try to summon demons on Halloween night. But
isn't tonight the night that they're all free to roll? It's like, you know, all right, we get it, you know.
Yeah.
I guess in the 80s people had to have shit explained to them. Maybe the moviegoers back in the day weren't so bright. I don't know.
At least they were indirectly explaining it to us and not just like blatantly putting it right there.
Yeah, and
in our faces.
This movie was great because it spawned 2 sequels. The next sequel was with Cross Kicker.
Yeah,
and then after that we had Shut the Fuck Up, Nick. Nick was getting shit the whole third movie.
I love it.
It was great. I think the whole every single Night of the Demons movie is like somewhat goaty to me. Like,
yeah, I agree.
The third one was dope, but it was more like it was just like this one though. That's what I liked. It was a lot similar to the first one.
Yeah. The
second one was kind of like, oh look, they're at college, they summoned the demon. The third one, it's like, oh great, we're back at the house. Like, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's where I think people would have got bored after a while. You know, like 2 sequels is enough. One at a college campus.
Yeah,
another one where we're back to the house, and then where can you go from there? And remake. But definitely Night of the Demons was one of my like favorite movies to rent from the video store. And I fucking love this movie. I don't know what else to say besides like this is one of my, when I have nothing to watch, I'll even pull it. It's even on Popcorn Flicks. You can pull it up and just watch it. I used to fucking go to FYEs and shit, Suncoast DVD stores looking for this shit, and I couldn't find it. Now everything's so easily accessible because like the 1980s are coming back. Like people are having like true admiration for like the golden age of horror, as they should.
That's why I appreciate all these like movie distribution companies and stuff like Scream Factory and Arrow and stuff like that, because they're helping bring all these nostalgic older like horror films and a lot of lesser known stuff to the forefront, because they're just constantly releasing Blu-rays of them, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of these movies probably didn't even have like a VHS or like a DVD release, or it was just, you know, not super widely available. So I don't know, I just felt like giving them some attribution too, because I feel like it's, you know, pretty warranted. But yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much hit all the right points on Night of the Demons. I don't really have that much more to say about it either. I mean, I loved it the first time I watched it because I loved the creature makeup.
Yes.
I loved like just the fucking weirdness of it, the movie in general. Like, you didn't really know where it was going sometimes, but it still was a concise story, you know.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was simple. It was just, hey, look, we're teenagers, right? And we're gonna go do something, and then something goes wrong. That's how real life happens. It's not like, well, they walked into an abandoned house, and in the abandoned house there was a serial killer who was abused as a child. And he was abused while he was tied to his chair. It's like, shut the fuck up.
You find like pictures in the basement and stuff, and you're like, oh my god, now everything makes sense.
Right?
You know,
but
like
this movie was just like, hey, this is just, you're just unlucky.
Yeah,
so
there's demons now.
You basically get what you ask for. I think that's what this movie was telling you. Like don't fuck her out. Like that's the main. You know how like The Descent, the main like point of that whole movie was like stay out of caves.
Yeah.
This one's like, don't fuck around. Like this.
Basically, yeah.
That's the basis of this movie. You never know, so don't fuck around.
Yeah.
But then again, it was the 1980s. It was a great time. You're lucky that you fucked around and died in the 80s. Horror movie characters.
I mean, everybody was like, not everybody, but like teenagers and kids were like rebelling in the 80s and shit. So these movies were probably like a warning, like, hey, relax.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of these movies were for. They're supposed to teach the younger kids a lesson, because they say these movies are made for adults. No, they're not. These movies are made for kids to sneak into the theater and watch these. Yeah. And then these directors purposely make the lesson for younger people, knowing that they're going to watch this movie, you know? I think it's fucking genius.
I think so too, but I think that pretty much puts a cap on what we have to say for Night of the Demons. This is a true classic. It's been around for a while. It's highly revered.
You can find it on Popcorn Flicks or Tubi TV.
And it's free. So go check it out. If you haven't already, or if you just want to do it again, Halloween's coming up.
It is. And we're all in the fucking spirit, and you fucking better be too.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I think the first real big release in theaters is the movie we're going to talk about right now, which is The Nun.
Hi, this is Chris.
And this is Roger.
And if you like Tigers baseball, Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, analytics, pop culture references, movies, sports, food, check us out. Look for Tigers SRD on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify.
Do you love pop culture? Discussions about pop culture? Ranking and rating treasured pieces of that shared culture against each other?
I mean, I do think Flea's a good bass player. He does what he does very well. And like I said, he's like a rock star, you know? He's eccentric. And what is so funny?
I just didn't know he talked so long about Flea. I didn't know anybody had so many feelings.
I do.
So many
I got
feelings.
yeah.
Music, movies, television, food, sports, pro wrestling. We are the determination of what is over or underrated across all fields of greater cultural consumption. Subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts and Podbean, or visit us at sportsradiodetroit.com. Over Under Fair, your final word in pop cultural relevance.
So we just saw this over the weekend, as many of you did.
And this has been highly anticipated. I remember like a year ago, it was roughly a year ago, when they showed like a little teaser for this shit.
Yeah.
They had like a little clip, and they're like, and I was reading an article from like 2017 about this, like well over a year ago. They're like, apparently we're going to learn more about the Nun. And honestly, that's not what this movie's about.
Yeah,
this wasn't really like, this wasn't a backstory to Valak, unfortunately.
Yeah, which is what everybody thought it was going to be. So it's kind of weird that they took it in that direction. Cuz literally it's about an abbey in, what was it, Romania, I think?
Yeah.
Where all the nuns, well, not all the nuns, but a nun hung herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then they find out that more nuns have died at the abbey, and they think that there's some kind of religious supernatural connection. So they send a priest, and I don't know what the official title is. Yeah.
And Frenchie.
Yeah, and Frenchie.
And does he sound familiar? You'll find out who he is.
Yeah. So those three end up going into this abbey to investigate whatever's happened, and they eventually find out that there's a demonic force in effect. But the thing is that, you know, like, we know it's Valak, but it doesn't actually seem like an origin story, because it's kind of just happening. Well, they do kind of explain what happened.
Well, they kind of briefly show Valak the Defiler, and then like,
yeah, well, there's that whole
write books.
There's that whole like ritual flashback thing a little later on in the movie that explains how they summoned Valak, but that's not like a Valak origin story necessarily. You know, like, there could have been other times when Valak like roamed the earth.
Oh yeah, there definitely was. Like, he wasn't written about until like the Goetia, the Lesser Key of Solomon, was written, and that was a minute ago. So
yeah,
he's been around for a while. You know, I thought, I didn't think, but people thought is what I meant. People thought like they were just gonna be like, Valak was sent by, you know, Beelzebub for but it's like, nah, he's here, and we're gonna explain like the first instance that has to do with the Conjuring series, the first time he interacted with those characters from that timeline. I
mean, I don't really think that he did, though. Well, kind of. I mean, what happened in a way was related to the Warrens, and it ties back into actually the first Conjuring film. But that's really the only connection. So I guess I get it, but yeah, it's not really like an origin story of the nun character or Valak, you know.
Yeah,
so,
it was just like the first time he interacted with people from the Conjuring universe, basically.
Yeah, basically that's it. So it was kind of strange, but that said, I really liked the setting a lot. I like that they kept it mostly inside of the abbey. It was like super dark and gothic, and it's just like brick walls with torches and shit like that. Like the actual architecture of the setting was phenomenal.
I don't know why people bitch about this movie at all, because I really like the setting. I like that fucking dark, you know, like
musty, creepy, like tunnels and shit.
Yeah, castle-y looking. Not exactly Dark Ages, but soon after time, you know,
right,
like
yeah, basically.
We were still not progressed well back then, socially nor technologically. It was a much simpler time. It looked like it was horrific to live in that era.
Yeah, I agree. Like you didn't really have that many like, you know, sanitary conditions or like bathing or anything. But this was like based in the 50s or something. So
the 50s.
Yeah, the Nun was based in like the 50s or something.
1950?
Like I believe so. Yeah, because one of the characters ended up being in that video. Remember with the Warrens?
Oh yeah.
So it can't have been. I mean, unless the demon made it immortal or something. But I don't know.
Right? That would have been fucking crazy. I want to look at. I want to look up the date that the Nun was supposed to take place.
Yeah, they showed it at the beginning of the film, and I thought I saw like something 50, but I wasn't like completely paying attention. So I don't know. But
I don't know, man. I don't think people in the 50s were walking around and fight like that. Maybe guess in Europe. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, it's like Romania or something. Right. Like they don't have access to.
Yeah, so definitely, that's definitely accurate. But I don't know. I thought it was like a. I like that it was like an adventure movie. Like it was just unraveling as it was going. It wasn't even a slow burn. Like shit always happened.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff happening all the time. Even the scenes where like a demon wasn't present or like the nun wasn't present. Like there was something happening and it was building suspense. You know. Whether it was just them like walking around with like the creepy music and with a lantern and like you never know what's gonna happen. And there was always something like that going on.
And I wouldn't say like it had bad jump scares, but like you could see them coming. You know.
Yeah, they were kind of predictable.
They were kind of predictable. It seemed like it was. Honestly, the pacing was great. I don't know, like.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I thought the pacing was good.
I felt that way.
I really didn't like the score, especially the part where Valak would come in and be like. I started laughing. I don't know if you noticed, but it was like da da da. It was like da 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 over and over. And that just means yes in my language.
Oh yeah.
It was da da. It looked like it seemed like it was like South Park imitating some demonic shit. You know, like I thought it was laughable. Honestly.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying that much attention to the score, honestly. But I mean, what really drove it home for me was the atmosphere. But then I kind of liked the camera work. I mean, it was nothing like super special, but the cinematography overall was good.
It was pretty good. Just for like, here's my fault is one. What the hell is the purpose of this movie? That's my first question. You know?
I don't really get it either.
Two, okay, that the ending was kind of meh. Like, didn't really make too much sense to me because I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but I didn't like the ending. Didn't care much at all for the characters.
I agree,
I thought Frenchie was cool. I didn't care if anything happened to him.
I don't know. I didn't really like him that much.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of like I got that he was supposed to be like charming, but I feel like they tried to interject like a little too much like stupid humor into it. Like that very last scene that we see him in where he faces down the force, right? Like I don't want to spoil too much, but he basically has like a punchline, and I thought that was stupid, and they just tried to do that too many times during the movie. You know, that was my only real gripe with like the writing of the characters.
And I only cared about Sister Irene because she's really cute, and that was it.
Yeah, Thaisa Farmiga. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was pretty much it for me too. I didn't really feel like her character was.
I found out that's Vera Farmiga's sister, actually.
Oh, is it her sister? That's right. That's right. For some reason, I thought it was her daughter. I don't know why.
I was like, they look way too similar.
Yeah. They're sisters. I forgot.
They look exactly alike.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, she was an okay character, but she didn't really serve that much of a purpose, and she wasn't that interesting. Neither was the priest, honestly. Like
he was annoying to me.
That actor was okay, but like I don't know why his accent it feels fake, even though I think that that's how he really talks.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but it feels like, is he really like putting that on, or is that like his real accent? Like, I'm not sure.
Could just be too much acting. Like,
Yeah, like he's kind of forcing it a little, maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. But I didn't like his character anyway,
Yeah.
even though that was distracting.
I didn't care much for honestly any of them. I didn't care what happened to them. I was
Yeah.
I was rooting for Valak.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I kind of wish that we just saw Valak more. But overall, I liked the movie. I thought it was atmospheric. I thought that the camera work was pretty good, and thing I liked most about it, I think, was just that it felt like a good journey, you know. And I think that's been missing in horror a lot. And this is like one of my big topics that I'm like kind of passionate about, is like older movies, especially something like Dracula, right? That feels like a journey from like start to finish.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, but it has a lot of like terrifying moments too. And I think that those movies kind of opposite from, you know, the ones where it's like it's just in a house, like Night of the Demons, like those isolated ones. You know, I think that that's like a whole other like great part of horror, is when, yeah, it's scary and it's atmospheric and everything, but it also feels like you're moving from point A to point B, and it makes sense, you know, and it feels complete, you know.
Exactly.
That's what I thought about this, especially with like the pacing being so well done. You know, I just felt like it was a good like adventure movie on top of being like a supernatural horror.
Yeah, I could have done even without the jump scares. The atmosphere of the movie was like, I don't know. Basically, this is one of those movies. If you pop it into your DVD player and you're in your room, you turn off the lights, you got some food with you.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be fun, but it's one of those dark movies, like Woman in Black. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's that type of movie, and it's. I think it was done well. I just don't. I just felt like there was like a lack of substance behind like.
Yeah.
Like,
really anything.
Yeah, like why are you telling us this?
Yeah, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense, honestly, because even knowing what happened, I feel like they could have completely done without it, because the whole movie was basically just a lead up to that like final scene with the Warrens.
Yeah, that relates back to the first Conjuring.
Yeah, and I mean, I was kind of curious about it, but I feel like I understood everything that happened. They were just trying to make this like weird connection between all the Conjuring movies and the Nun and stuff, and
yeah,
I don't know, it felt kind of out of place to me. I would have rather just seen like the Conjuring 3, honestly.
Yeah, I would have. Now we gotta wait probably another 2, 3, 4 years before another Conjuring.
Actually, next year.
No.
Yes, there was another article about it. I didn't mention it because it's like super up in the air right now, but there's talks of filming starting for the Conjuring 3 next year.
Okay, that I'll go see.
Yeah.
I have more hope for like if there was another Annabelle rather than another Conjuring.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Annabelle Creation to me was better than Conjuring 2.
Yeah,
they were both good, but Annabelle Creation was better than like it was the second best in like the whole universe. I would say.
Yeah.
Better than the Nun, better than Annabelle and Conjuring 2. Like so, we Conjuring 1, Annabelle Creation, Conjuring 2, Annabelle, and then the Nun.
Really, you think the Nun is the worst one?
Out of this, yeah.
Even over Annabelle? I think the Nun is better than Annabelle.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably have to.
I didn't like Annabelle at all, honestly. Like,
At all?
I barely paid attention to it.
I
But
watched.
I liked the Nun, you know.
I watched it through, and like Annabelle was like.
Yeah.
You
don't
know what?
know.
I'll give it to the Nun. Switch places.
We talked about it last week. It was just missing like a lot, you know, to make it actually watchable, in my opinion.
It was really boring.
Exactly, yeah.
That was the flaw. Like, sure, there was like, there was great character development, great score, cinematography.
Yeah, I mean,
there was no real focus. Like, there wasn't any big panning shots that they had to do.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't driving to like the mountains or anything. It was just, look, we're in a house. Like,
yeah.
so like there was nothing really great about it. It was, Annabelle wasn't bad, but it was very, very fucking average.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
super fucking average.
Yeah, I think The Nun as an actual like enjoyable watch. Like, I'll probably watch it again, on one of those dark nights.
Yeah, if it's fucking
with the lights off and
storming
stuff.
outside,
Yeah.
you just pull your curtains back so you can see the thunder and the rain and just fucking chill, man.
Yeah, but I won't do the same with Annabelle. I think so.
I think the Nun has that's also another thing. I don't know why people didn't like it. I think it has rewatch value for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, even just like with the setting and the atmosphere alone, like that's something I'll turn on like any day of the week.
Yeah, I wasn't scared at any point, but I was just like, I was more admiring the camera work. Like the whole movie, I'm just like,
yeah, the camera work
that was great. Like that. I think this one stood out more than any of the other Conjuring movies as far as cinematography.
Oh yeah, it was completely different.
Like you could see like it was just a whole different movie. I don't know
Yeah.
like why it's in the same universe, but like they did something completely different for The Nun. I think if it had more substance and reason, it would have been a lot better film.
I think if the actual character of the nun was made less like jump scary, like let me show you all my teeth in CGI, you know,
Yeah.
and it was more like subtle, like creeping terror, like in The Conjuring 2, that painting scene and like all those scenes, those were all good. Like the nun had too many like upfront jump scares
I think
for me,
so.
you know.
I think if it came out the blue, like they're just like, all right, well now we're gonna like it just popped out of
Yeah.
nowhere, and you're like, oh shit, like you don't see it coming at all. Like those are the ones that scare the fuck out of you, not the ones that you see like the way the camera's panning slowly, and then your ankles lock, and you're
Yeah.
waiting for the jump after like 10 seconds, then you finally get scared, or like they're like, "Nyeh," and the music stops, and you think nothing's gonna happen, so you get relaxed, and then the jump scare comes, like.
Yeah, there's effective ways of doing it, and I don't really think they did it in this movie, unfortunately. But
No, this movie they should have focused more on atmosphere, I
Yeah.
think, and on the nun, the actual antagonist of the
yeah,
movie.
definitely.
That's what was really missing for me. We didn't see enough of her. I think total
Yeah.
total screen time we saw about 2 minutes.
Yeah, she wasn't definitely not like, she didn't feel like the antagonist really to me, you
No.
know, at all. So, and she was clearly supposed to be, or it was supposed to be. So, yeah, that was one of my gripes with it. But overall, I found it to be a pretty fun movie. I gave it a 3 out of 5. So I
Yeah.
recommend that you do go see it if you're still on the fence about it. But yeah, it doesn't touch, you know, the realm of like The Conjuring 2 or The Conjuring in terms of, you know, good or not.
Yeah, I also gave it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was, and okay, I guess this is curved. That's about we'll say that's a C
Sure. Yeah.
instead of a D because D's harsh.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
don't
not
think
even
it deserves a
accurate.
D. Yeah.
I'd give it a just C, not C plus, C minus.
Mm-hmm.
I give this movie, with my curve, it's a C.
I might give it a C plus, but yeah. So we're pretty average there for the movie, and that's really what it was. It wasn't anything like super special, but it was an enjoyable flick. The setting and the camera work and everything was very cool, and you know, I mean, if you're in just the mood for some predictable cheap jump scares, then it's a lot better than your other options.
If I were you guys, I would wait until it comes out, because it's probably going to be on Tubi or Vudu or even Popcorn Flicks, I would say, in about like a year.
I mean, yeah, if you can get some cheap seats or something, then I say go see it. But
Go see it on like a Tuesday
yeah,
in about a week and a half.
yeah, that's a good day to
It's
do
like
it.
$4.
Yeah, yeah, they're really. I mean, tickets are usually a lot cheaper during the week.
Yeah,
So
especially before 4 o'clock.
yeah, so that's our recommendation. So yeah, go check out The Nun if you're interested in it. If you hate it, then let us know why. We'll happily discuss it with you. But right now, we're going to move on to our final segment of the episode, the chopping block. All right, and this is a bit of an older film, but it just came to Netflix, and it's called Shudder.
First of all, fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't get that score.
Not their website, but the reviews. 56%, really?
Yeah. I don't really agree with that, but I mean, whatever. People were probably just comparing it to Ju-on and Ringu too much, and it was probably worse than those movies, but I don't know if that deserves like a rotten score, you know, because overall I thought that the movie was good.
I was gonna say I understand if like sure every movie has its little plot holes and stuff that you can nitpick at, but like I don't know why people act like this movie wasn't enjoyable.
Yeah.
The score was fucking like right off the bat you
The score was
get hit
awesome.
with that great fucking score.
Mm-hmm.
The cinematography made like the lead up, like it made it more suspenseful. I think the cinematography added to a lot of the suspense in combination with the score, and like like this movie had really good character development.
Yeah, I thought
So like you kind of felt shitty when something would happen to them, but at the same time you're like, hey, you fucked up. Like
Yeah.
you fucked up. Like right at the start, you listened to that fucker. Go.
Yeah.
So that's your fault.
Yeah, unfortunately, like a lot of movies.
Is that too harsh?
Well, I was just gonna say, like, unfortunately, I don't think a lot of horror movies, especially, try to paint like their characters as like very human. I don't know, like a lot of them, like you may enjoy the characters, but they still feel like movie characters. But I feel like this movie,
Yeah,
it
these
was
are
very
people.
real. Yeah.
Because like you usually get like the douchebag, the virgin. Now these were just 2
Mhm.
fucking people. They were dicking around at the beginning at like that dinner. You know, they're having fun or whatever
Mhm.
the fuck. And then all of a sudden, snap! Life turns 180. Like,
Yeah.
and it can, because like these people. That's the problem. Usually the like survivors and the main characters of these like horror movies are like perfect people.
Yeah.
This is like, yo. This is like, yo, we fucked up. Like these are like, and these weren't like all time fuck ups. These were just like, literally a mistake happened and it cost a fucking life. You know. So
Yeah.
like it's that type of fuck up. It's nothing you can do about it, but something like that. That's gonna fucking haunt them forever. You know,
Yeah.
pun intended. Like.
Yeah. I mean, the main character could have done something about it, but
Yeah.
they made a choice. I mean, so you can say they probably deserve to die, but yeah, I mean, the story basically revolves around a young girl who somehow dies. And
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. So
Yeah, I don't really wanna spoil
It's
anything,
right on
but-
Netflix, so
yeah, but basically, like years later, an incident happens one night, and it starts haunting this couple, and they eventually realize that it's connected to people that they know. But it's just a very well done film. It's a Thai movie, and I don't know, Asian horror from like the early 2000s was just phenomenal.
it's so fucking
Yeah.
good. Like for everyone, like for me, it started with Ju-on. I never knew about Shudder. I found out about the Japanese one after the American one got released. Same thing.
Okay, yeah,
Like same way I found out about Ju-on was from The Grudge.
yeah,
And then I went to FYE, saw Ju-on, and I was like, what? And then I saw Ringu, and like I didn't know like these were originally Japanese horror, but that would explain like the Asian looking
yeah.
ghosts and stuff. But as far as this one being better than the remake, from what I've seen from this, I don't think the remake can like really probably hold a candle to it,
Of Shudder?
because
No, it's
because
way
this one
worse.
was like, I don't think the remake can capture like the atmosphere of this.
Mhm. Yeah,
This was very unsettling, like really,
Yeah, it was very
like,
disturbing
really
movie,
fucking
yeah.
unsettling.
The-
Like, it's up there with like Noroi, like it's,
yeah,
I would say so. Like in terms
Yeah.
of like, it just gives you like you feel your heart beat in your palm. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
how I felt watching it. I don't know. It was just
the thing that I thought helped in that matter was just that like every scene was suspenseful in some way.
Yeah.
Like whether it was them trying to like figure stuff out, or if it was just somebody walking.
yeah.
It was suspenseful.
I had to watch South Park to cool down after watching this, because
Yeah.
I did have a dream about this shit.
And honestly, like the ghost scenes were really well
Yeah,
done.
they were
Like
very
weren't
well done.
they weren't jump scares, but they were just like slow. Like you remember that scene in the like the photography studio?
Yep. That was
awesome.
fire. That was
Yeah.
fucking.
It was so like the way that they showed the ghost. I don't know. I thought they were all like really innovative like ways of showing the ghost.
Yeah.
And the ghost was honestly like super creepy. And I think that like the cinematography and the score obviously helped in that. But I thought the
Yeah.
actress was great too.
Yeah.
And the makeup I thought was really good. So
Like
that's how it should be done.
For me, it was like I didn't want anything to happen to them, but at the same time, I was like, in horror movies, like karma's a
Mhm.
real thing. Like
Oh,
in the horror universe, like.
Mhm.
So I mean, you always reap what you sow. Like no horror movie's been like, oh, I ran over someone.
Yeah.
Time to live the rest of my life and nothing happens.
Right.
Like-
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of like moral ambiguity in this movie.
Uh huh.
And that's really what it was all about. It's like making the right decisions or like saving your own ass.
I
and
think it
stuff
was
like that.
I think it was feeling helpless like that, but like
Yeah.
they were like helpless in kind of like a selfish way.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the guilt of like what they did that was bothering them. I think it was like the guilt of just being guilty, honestly, like
Yeah.
because they were like, how are we gonna live with this? Not what have we done? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's basically just like, okay, why is this happening to us? I don't deserve this, even though I'm a shitty person.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't know, but I did think that the writing was well done. The character development was good. The whole movie just had like a lot of messages, and it really had a lot of like pretty disturbing parts to it, especially the ending, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, it had great imagery. That's what I really
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
about this film. Like the Asian horror, I don't think people understand like the great imagery that they have. Like they don't have to have like spectacular even cinematography or like anything like that, but like the imagery in there is like always like it fucks with you.
Yeah.
Because it's not something simple. It's always like a baby with half a head or something, and it's just like
Yeah.
crawling toward them.
Yeah. I thought visually it was phenomenal, and yeah, I mean, all the shots were like deliberate, you know, and they all felt like important. So
Yeah, there was like no filler in this fucking movie.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
there's like those like scenes in a lot of movies where nothing has purpose. It's
Mhm.
just like, hey, here's part of the regular day.
Yeah. So I thought structurally it was very well composed. You know, the actual scary parts I felt were actually pretty scary. Like I don't know, I felt it a little bit, you know.
I mean, I did
When
shit
I was there, yeah.
imagery over jump scares any day.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It was very creepy, very suspenseful. So this one is not chopped for me. I think you should go check it out. It's on Netflix right now.
I agree. Go check it out. Not chopped, never chopped. Rewatchable
Yeah, for sure.
and fun for the whole family. Make sure you bring your 5 to 7 year olds to watch it as well.
Yes, yeah. This movie is rated PG, actually.
Yes. In some countries like Russia, it's rated G.
Yeah, because in Russia they don't care about anything.
Russia don't give a fuck.
They got enough vodka to wash it all away. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much going to do it for the chopping block as well as this episode. But before we go, we wanted to tell you guys about just a few new developments. The first is that you can now not only find us on social media, where we're available under Grave Discussions, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but now we're also going to have our very own feeds on all of the streaming platforms that you might be used to with us. So we've got Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and iTunes. So instead of being able to search up Sports Radio Detroit, you can just search Grave Discussions, and we're going to be right there.
But you better check out Sports Radio Detroit anyway.
Of course.
Don't you dare click on us without clicking on them.
Yeah, you have to go check them out. Listen to our stuff on there, and they also have a lot of other great shows. And
If you like MMA, football,
yeah,
we're Sports Radio Detroit is for you,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah,
just listen.
they have sports everything, even just apart from like all the local stuff. So yeah, they're
Right.
phenomenal. But go check out our stuff too, and go check out our website. I just recently updated it, so there's a brand new article with a cool movie review, and then our latest episode prior to this one, number 26, is also up on there now. So thank you for tuning in, and I think that's gonna wrap it up here for episode 27.
Yes, it is. And make sure you tune in next week on the greatest horror podcast ever, Grave Discussions.
This has been an SRD production.